Okay, what was that? I mean, really, you just teleported us, didn't you? I knew it! You have a teleporter, Rose shouted, leaning in from the back seat, in between the driver and passenger seats, looking between Titan and Jax, back and forth from one to the other. No, I don't have a teleporter. Teleportation is a different thing, kid. That is what I call the gate drive. It's not teleportation. Teleportation is the act of, well, tearing you apart. It rips you apart, particle by particle, atom by atom, and then transports those particles, atoms, and things of that nature as a stream of energy rather than a solid piece of matter, and then reassembles them in a different location. That was not teleportation. The gate drive is different. It is, well, it's essentially temporal folding. Basically, I fold space and time over itself in order to force two locations that don't actually overlap to overlap. And like stepping through a doorway, you can move from one location to the next. Trust me, kids, you don't want to trifle with teleportation. Yes, it can be done, but there are a lot, and I do mean a lot, of risks involved. If anything goes wrong, and I do mean anything, you could end up in a state of situation you really don't want to be in. So, while I could have a teleporter, I choose not to. Because, well, I like being fully formed. I'd rather not have my arm inside of my sternum, or be reassembled inside out, or any one of the numerous, and I do mean numerous, things that can go wrong. I mean, the worst thing that can happen with the gate drive is that you end up in the wrong place. One of the worst things that can happen with teleportation is the wrong place ends up in you. Trust me, when you appear with a tree growing out of your stomach, that's when you start questioning the nature of teleportation. I don't trust it, and neither should you. Advice for the future, Jack said, while maintaining driving the car. Okay, so it's not teleportation, but that is still so cool, Rose said. So, can you teleport or gate anywhere you want? Like to other planets and stuff? No, don't be ridiculous, he replied. The gate drive works because I have an established setup here on Earth. Networks of satellites to transmit signals and energy to create the gates. And it took a lot of hard work to do. Basically, in order to create a gate, I need a satellite in position. Within a certain radius of that satellite, it can project a powerful energy source and allow me to create a gate within a reasonable distance of that satellite. So basically, I can create one to anywhere on Earth, but other planets are way out of range. I'd need to create satellites that orbit other worlds for that. Don't get me wrong, I have a few of them, with worlds that I have friendly association with. But just creating one wherever I want is out of the question. Whoa, so you're telling me that you talk to other planets? Yeah. I mean, you're an alien. I thought you would understand that humans aren't the only ones in the universe at this point. Having to set up diplomatic relations with other worlds is basic for trying to achieve the goals that I need. Access to otherworldly technology is a very powerful asset, and resources that aren't able to be acquired on Earth. Believe it or not, the universe is a big place, kid. Some things can't be made with materials that you'd be able to find on Earth. Lots of different planets go through lots of different processes as they're forming. Stars, planets, exoplanets, asteroid fields, and countless other universal phenomenon create countless different conditions under which certain substances can come into being. So, unfortunately, some things you have to travel outside of your neighborhood to get. Regardless, I suppose it doesn't really matter. Once again, you're gonna need to keep this under your belt, Jack says as he continued to drive. It doesn't matter how we got here. We're here, he said as he pulled up to a stop. Ahead of him, Rose could see the side of the very large mountain. There, nestled against it, was what appeared like a very large stone entryway, mixed with wood, as if a tree had grown into the side of the mountain, and they had taken stones to fill in the gaps. There, Rose could see a doorway. I thought it was a cabin. Well, I never said it was exactly a cabin. Just don't worry about it. It's nice enough. You'll be able to stay there just fine. A friend of mine asked me to keep an eye on this place for him. He grew up here. A friend? Rose replied. What kind of person is the friend of the king of freaking Atlantis? Believe it or not, kid, I have lots of friends. Maybe it's my dazzling personality, Jack said. Just be sure not to mess anything up. He might be my friend, but chances are he won't take it well if I tell him that I let someone stay in his childhood home and they ruined it. So try not to blow anything up. The last time I went a few rounds with this guy, well, let's just say it didn't go well. For anyone. Ugh, the number of replacements, Jack said as he rubbed his hand down his face. And don't even get me started on the collateral damage. We basically turned the whole place into a barren wasteland. It wasn't fun. Luckily enough for me, the guy actually was fairly reasonable after he calmed down. It's just the getting him to that calm point. That was a massive pain in my ass. Originally, we found ourselves at a bit of a disagreement as to how to deal with a specific situation. It wound up in a fight, but luckily enough, after all was said and done, we shook hands and became friends. I actually spend a lot of time with the guy. He's interesting, fairly funny. Once you get to know him, the guy knows a good joke. I mean, he's utterly terrifying when he gets serious about something, and everything starts catching fire, but as long as he's not pissed off about anything, he's a fair guy to hang out with. You really hang out with some freaky people, don't you? Well, I wouldn't exactly call him a person, but sure, yeah. Regardless, kid, I have things to do. Out of the car, he said, as the doors opened on their own. Are you sure that this place is actually fit to stay in? I mean, that's kind of a dinky-looking door. I was expecting like a palace or something. A mansion in the woods. You are the king of Atlantis. Hey, it's a free place to stay while you go through your alien transformation, kid. Beggars can't be choosers. I could always invite you to Atlantis, but your mom wants a more natural setting. Natural settings aren't my forte. This is the best I got. Come on, Rose, her mother said as she exited the car. Stop bothering him. I'm sure he's very busy. Besides, we're going to have plenty of time to spend alone together. And I'd like to spend it worrying about us, not him. Oh, thanks for the concern. I'd hate for you to think I was important or something, Jack said from the driver's seat. Oh, you know what I mean, Rose's mother replied. Of course I appreciate the trouble that you went through, but this is a very special time in my daughter's life, and I'd like that to be the foremost of our concerns. So please, don't take offense. Don't worry about it, the blonde girl, Titan said, leaning out of the window. Trust me, he's got tough skin. He'll brush it off. It was nice seeing you again, Mayrie. I'll see you later, Rose. Oh, after this is over, I'll give you my number. I so need more friends. Trust me, your dad being the king of Atlantis kind of makes having normal friends, well, impossible. And don't get me started on trying to find a boyfriend. Titan, come on, we gotta go. She replied, sighing as she leaned back inside the window. And it's back to it. Rose hopped out of the car, and the doors closed on their own, after which they drove away, leaving Rose and her mother alone in front of that small doorway leading into the side of the mountain. Rose sighed a bit. Just like that, her experience getting to know the King of Atlantis had come to its end, at least for the time being. She took another look at the door behind her. Based on its appearance, she wasn't going to be accessing any advanced technology anytime soon. By the looks of it, she'd be surprised if there was a television, which was not an idea that comforted her.